All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. As usual, it's Wednesday, Wanderlust Wednesday here in the cave, and we have a special guest yet again here in the cave, Frank Sassano. This is your fourth appearance? We do two Christmases with you or one?
One Christmas. We did the Frankmas, then we did Tony, we did Red Box.
Yep.
And then I did a pirate radio on Adam and the Ants, Kings of the
right.
Wild Frontier.
That's right. So this is number four. You're the four-timer club. We need to get you a jacket. We need a maroon felt jacket for this, I think, with a little Rock Cave logo on the
winter time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you are coming to me from Florida, although you have been here in the cave, so that's also exciting. And you and I we talk music all the time. And we've been talking about doing this show for a long time, right? This particular episode, I think we've been talking about it for maybe 6 months, maybe a year. Yeah. I don't know.
Definitely all summer.
Yeah, definitely all summer. But you're jazzed about today, and so am I. And so yeah, we're doing a Wanderlust Wednesday. It's a band that people know, but we've pretty much decided they probably only know one song. And if you can name without looking 3 of their songs, then you must be a fan, because you're not a casual fan if you can name 3 songs by this band. And we're talking about the band Devo, right? Tell me how it is that you came to be a Devo fan.
Yeah, well, Devo, or I guess they're called devotees, or however you pronounce it, or devotee, whatever. But I think it was more coming out of the world of disco in the late 70s, which I didn't like disco at all. I was, before that, a classic rock kind of guy, 70s rock, prog rock, so disco was completely off the charts for me. It was all over the radio. But then New Wave came in, right? So you had bands like the Talking Heads, B-52s, Devo, the Cars, to some extent, are New Wave. You had the little harder edge new bands like the Pretenders, the Clash, and so forth, Adam and the Ants. So it just spoke to me. I just loved the early New Wave. Was pretty guitar forward. It had synthesizers, but it was still pretty guitar forward. It was sort of the post-punk movement. I liked punk, but I wasn't crazy about it. So this just spoke to me. And I saw Devo on Saturday Night Live. And I think they did Satisfaction.
They did that, and they did Jocko Homo. Yeah, they were on the week after the Rolling Stones, and that was right when they hit it big in 1981.
Yeah, so I saw them on Saturday Night Live. They also played Fridays, if you don't remember the TV show Fridays, but they were on that. They did Uncontrollable Urge from it. So I'd seen them on TV. I was like, these guys are pretty cool. Radiation suits, very different. The herky jerky movements. So I bought this, Are We Not Men, which is the first album. This is the one I actually bought.
Nice.
It's nice and old. It's an original.
And that was released this past Sunday. Well, we're recording now, so this was recorded, on this day, Sunday, in 1978.
Yep, 78.
Yeah.
So I love this album. It's really off the wall. There's a lot of great songs on it. To me, I think Uncontrollable Urge, debut song, debut album, could be one of the best first tracks on a debut album that's out there, in my opinion. That's probably hyperbole maybe to some, but any first album that starts with the yeah, it's just like, that just sets the tone.
Right.
So that's how I got into them. Was seeing them on TV. They weren't really on the radio. I mean, they weren't on classic rock radio, hard rock radio. My friends were into them. That was also part of it. We were all kind of in this new wave group, into those bands I mentioned, Gary Newman as well. So
I'm a big Gary Newman fan. These guys are out of Akron, Ohio. They were actually formed in 1973.
Yeah.
How about that? 2 sets of brothers in there, Mark and Bob Motherboss. How do you pronounce their name? Motherboss?
Mothersbaugh.
Yeah. And Gerald and Bob Casales, right?
Yes.
So we got Mark, Bob, Gerald, Bob. Those are rock and roll names if you ever heard them before.
And Alan.
And Alan. Don't forget Alan. Alan
Don't
Myers.
forget Alan.
Poor Alan. But these guys, they were early pioneers in lots of things. Synthesizers, the timing of their music is fascinating. We'll talk a little bit more about that with one of the songs I'm going to talk about, but their timing was a little bit interesting and influential. They had sarcasm and dry humor, social commentary, as I read about this. And they were pioneers of video. They had a laser disc. Remember laser discs? They put out a laser disc. But these guys, I, like so many people, first heard of them from 1980 with Whip It.
Yep.
I think I was probably in something like in 6th grade or something. I don't know. But yeah, so, Whip It was a big deal. And those outfits came around right around that time. The hats they started wearing right around 80, 81, somewhere around there. But I think that's the only song that most people can name. And when you think about them, when you look at them and you look at those hats and you look at the radiation suits and you think of the song Whip It, I think they suffer a little bit from people thinking they were a novelty band, much like Oingo Boingo, who I talked about recently, when it turns out, you have to go listen to some more Oingo Boingo and they're real musicians. And so I think that's part of where that comes from. But they're so much more than that. They're real musicians, and they got a lot of good music out there. Brian Eno produced their first record on a major label for Warner Brothers after David Bowie and Iggy Pop recommended them to be signed. So that was pretty interesting. Then they went on Saturday Night Live, October of 78, 1 week after the Stones. Then they end up putting out, we'll talk records in a second, Freedom of Choice 1980. That was the one you just showed, and that had Whip It, and that was their breakthrough. They had a huge fan club, like you talked about. Their name comes from de-evolution because they were, like your T-shirt says right there, they were believers in that mankind was already in a spiral down of de-evolution, of just mass conforming and herd mentality, right? That's what they were all about. So that was my first exposure, but not soon thereafter, that right around that time was when I got into this movie Heavy Metal, which was really hard to get to at that time, but it was on cable TV. We were lucky to have cable in 1982, and they were playing it on HBO or whatever. And I got that soundtrack, and their song "Working in a Coal Mine," I'd never heard it before. It's a remake, but boy, I just fell in love with them that right then and there with that song, and that's what got me going from there on forward. And I also learned in reading about them, they were the backing band that year in 1981 for Toni Basil's record, her first album that had the hit Mickey on it. They didn't play on Mickey, but they played on 3 songs that were their own songs that she was covering. So that's pretty cool.
It's amazing to me that people think of them as a novelty act after you just said all of the different things that they were pioneering. And the video was a big time thing for them early on. They had all these strange videos. If you watch the Jocko Homo video with the guys with the sunglasses on and the pantyhose over their face and just crazy stuff. But they were the first concert I went to was Devo.
Nice.
In 1981, and I guess we'll get to the next album after Freedom of Choice, which was New Traditionalists, which of course I have.
Right.
But that was the tour, and they were playing New Westchester Theater in Tarrytown, small venue. One of the loudest concerts I've ever been to. Just ear splitting, which was shocking to me. But the first part of the concert, they show you the videos, they show you movies. And so it was a real kind of art rock experience. Not only were they doing that, but and the humor, right? They were very, I don't know, they were mocking a lot of things. And it was a lot of tongue in cheek, but they were also pretty serious about it. And in their albums early on, they were totally like against consumerism, right? They were mocking that whole system. But when you buy their albums, inside there was an order form and you could buy stuff. And so while they were mocking it, they were selling it.
Right. Yeah.
And they were kind of mocking themselves because the stuff they were selling was completely ridiculous.
Right.
The 3D glasses, right? Right. And I was wondering if I mailed in this order form to Club Devo, to Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, what would happen? Probably nobody would answer it.
Well, I'm sure they still have a fan club. I'm sure it's still going on. And I did read about their fan clubs in 1981 and 84. They put out elevator music on cassette. People in the fan club got a cassette of them doing their own elevator music, which was just quirky and different. And they would use it as the house music before their concert. And then much later in 87, it was released on CD as something called like Songs to Relax by or something like that, right?
Exact versions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they are, we'll get to their music in 1 second, but they're still plugging along. I mean, they had some changes in lineups. They put out a fair amount of records, some with good reviews, some not so much good reviews, but then they come back after a hiatus doing their thing. I mean, they're still around, they're doing stuff, they're still around.
Yeah. They play, they were, for a while, they were playing Lollapalooza. And they played a couple of shows like that. I think 2010 was their last album, Something for Everybody. But then they released something else for everybody, which might have been.
I think it's 2000. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about their music. For me, I already talked about working in a coal mine, and I have two songs I want to talk about quickly, and then I'm going to let you take over because you're into their music more than there's a lot we can talk about. But first of all, Through Being Cool was probably the third Devo song that I ever heard that I love, and I love that song so much. I'll let you talk about that one in a second. And then this is the one I played today just in my car, and I just love it so much. And we're talking about their remake of the Stones' Satisfaction. And you know what? It works for me. I'm a huge Stones fan, as everyone knows, and I do not approve of remakes for the most part. And especially someone trying to remake a Stones song. I mean, blasphemy, right? But this one, the moment I heard it, I was like, what's going on here? Do I like this? Do I not like this? So I played it a few more times, and I cannot stop listening to it. And it's all these things. It's the instruments they use. It's different enough than the original. The timing, it's just they have this weird timing with it. You just have to play it over and over again. And it's the simple drum comes in at certain times, and then he goes baby 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 baby, and he goes on and on and on, and it works. I love their remake of this song, and I think they had to release it as a separate single or something along the way. But anyway, they played it on Saturday Night Live, and I absolutely just love this song. And my wife, when that song comes on, she changes it, and she just looks at me and says, I don't know how you can like that song. That's terrible, is what she says to me. And we agree on a lot of music, but she says that's terrible. And so I don't know. We'll find out what people think of it when they play it. But I love it. I love it. What do you have to say about their music?
Well, on Satisfaction, there's a story that they actually played it before they released it for Mick Jagger. They ran across him someplace, and they were hanging out, and they played it for him. Imagine the chutzpah to play something like that for Mick Jagger. This is their signature song, right? And I guess the story goes, at first he didn't say anything. He was just listening, and they think, oh God, he hates it. And then all of a sudden he got up and started dancing and saying, I like it. So they felt like, okay, they could release it. But yeah, there's a story out there, something like that, where they played it for him. But
I love it because they're cruising along singing it, and then it's not till the end that all of a sudden there's a chorus, and you're like, oh, they threw a chorus in at the end too. Backup singers. I mean, is what I see from out of nowhere. It's great.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, I'm going to go deep tracks because people might know. They might know the Are We Not Men? Are We? We Are Devo. They might know that. They won't know the title Jocko Homo, but they might recognize that.
I know That's Good. I forgot about That's Good.
That's Good. Yeah,
That's Good is a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah, they might know that. But I'm going to go on the first album. I really like the song Space Junk. So at the time in the late 70s, I think Skylab might have fallen, or there was stuff falling out of the sky. So they wrote a song called Space Junk, which I like. And there's a great guitar solo in that song. So check out Space Junk. If I want to be really subversive, I could go Pray Enhance, but I'm not going to go there. A little bit of religious overtones there. Yeah, listen to it, but you'll probably understand why I wouldn't say to post it. Great song, though. I think the two from the first album, I'll go with Uncontrollable Urge. People might know that, but it's the first song from the first album, It Rocks, and Space Junk. So I'll go there on the first album. Second album was Duty Now for the Future. It was released in '79. I don't know. It's a very strange album. There's a song on it called Blockhead, which is good. The other ones are really weird. I don't know if it's a transitional album or what, but I don't see the transition from the first one, which was weird but really effective, to that one, to Freedom of Choice. I don't know. But check out Blockhead. There's a '96 Lollapalooza live version of Blockhead, which I think is pretty good. And then you get to Freedom of Choice, which I think everybody might know. Girl You Want. Girl You Want, we didn't discuss.
No, we didn't.
It's an amazing song.
It is, you're right. Yeah, it is good.
And you know who covered Girl You Want?
Is it like Foreigner or someone?
No.
I don't know.
Soundgarden did a version of Girl You Want.
Oh, that's fascinating. All right, I did not know that.
Yeah, which is amazing. And then also I think Pearl Jam's done it live. But I know for sure Soundgarden covered Girl You Want. I'm not going to do Girl You Want, not going to do Freedom of Choice or Whip It. But I love Gates of Steel. Gates of Steel is a really rocking song. I think you could play Gates of Steel on Octane Friday.
Okay. All right.
Another one that'll blow your socks off is, all right, Soundgarden covered Girl You Want. Ministry covers Gates of Steel. And they're actually really good friends. And it's really interesting how industrial metal bands like that, like Nine Inch Nails, really respect Devo and Gary Newman. They love them.
That performance of Nine Inch Nails with Gary Newman on a stage doing the his song, basically doing Gary Newman's song, is fascinating and awesome. And clearly, Gary Newman was the pioneer of that music.
Absolutely. So I'll go Gates of Steel. So far we have Space Junk and Uncontrollable Urge, Blockhead, Gates of Steel. And there's another song on Freedom of Choice called Ton of Love, which I like. So it's got a really interesting, low sounding, dirty synthesizer on it. So we'll go Ton of Love, TONOLUV, Ton of Love.
Okay. All right.
And then that brings us to New Traditionalists, which is what has Through Being Cool on it. And this was the tour that I saw. And I don't know, a lot of
I remember the video. I remember the video for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Great song.
Yeah, great song. A lot of people felt like this album after Freedom of Choice was a disappointment. I don't. I love this album. I think maybe it doesn't have the like highs of the, great songs that everybody recognized, but I think it's very consistent. It's also a darker album. So they went a little bit darker because they were Through Being Cool. They didn't want to be a hit band anymore. They wanted to do their thing. They felt like the new fans really didn't get what they were about, right? So they went a little darker. Beautiful World. I think you might put that video on.
Yep, for sure.
That one has a lot to say, but I really like Jerking Back and Forth.
Yep.
That
the B-side. I think that was a B-side to Whip It. No, wait, is that right? No, it would have been later. No, those albums are on at the same time. I swear that was a B-side to something. Maybe later on it was on like a CD single or something. But anyway.
No, I love Jerking Back and Forth. And I also I'm trying to decide between two songs. Either Pity You, which has a nice guitar riff to it, or Race of Doom, which is a really intense, pounding, drumming kind of song. Oof. I don't want to take too many songs. I think I'll go Race of Doom, but I would say check out Pity You. And then, so those are my songs. And then if you throw in That's Good from Ono, it's Devo, I'm good.
That's good. I listened to today, and that's a song that is new to me in the last, I don't know, 10 years or something. I don't know how I missed it early on, but I'm all about that song when it comes on and I play it. I enjoy that one a lot.
The video, they ran into some problems with MTV. Apparently, I read that the whole thing with the donut and the French fry. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
yeah. And the MTV people called up Jerry Casale and they said, "You can't put this on." And he said, "Why? What's wrong with it? You know, the donut and the French fry, and you're going to have to change it." And he was complaining about, well, what about, I don't know, there's some like metal band, you know, where Billy Idol's White Wedding video where they're, you know, shaking their butt in the camera. And he goes,
Right.
"We're not talking about them. We're talking about you." So I don't know what ended up on there, but if you go on YouTube, the original with the donut and the French fry is on. And that's good video.
Nice. All right, so we're just gonna post a bunch of songs. We'll just share them and comment below. We'll share songs and we'll just write whatever we want to write to it. Hopefully, people watching today will check out their songs and have an open mind and say, "Oh, I didn't know they were more than Whip It. I didn't know they were not a novelty band." Wow, it's really interesting, and you really have to look at them in context in the early '80s, especially with what they were doing, and everyone has to listen to Satisfaction for sure, but you have to listen to it like 10 times to decide whether you like it or not. And I want to play some more of those heavy ones that you said. I think Paul Chabot will probably be interested in those.
Yeah.
And let's just see what people have to say about Devo, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and also they ended their last album in 2010 with a song called "No Place Like Home," which is very un-Devo-like. It actually has a piano in it that's not synthesized. It's a straight piano, and the first time I played it, I was completely shocked.
Wow,
so
okay. I'll check that out. I don't know that one.
Check out that one. It's another one. It's very much about the environmental mess that we're in.
Okay, so, cool.
No Place Like Home. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Frank. Thanks so much for being
on today. Devo. I don't know what the time.
I don't know. It's probably going to be it's going to be a long episode, but that's the point of having people on. I'm going to have Paul Chabot on. He's going to do Woodstock. Both Woodstocks are going to be probably 2 separate episodes. You know, I'm going to my guest spots are probably going to be longer, and people will just have to. They can always fast forward or skip or whatever. But for those fans, they'll listen, and you know, maybe they'll listen to it like a podcast. Who knows?
Yeah, well, 18 minutes for Black Sabbath, whatever this is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I don't know if it's 18 minutes, but
right, probably pretty close. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Frank, thanks for being on. As always, it's great talking to you about music. I love texting you and talking to you about music, and you fit perfectly in with what we're talking about. You have a lot of stuff to share, and looking forward to doing more shows with you. We'll talk some more. But today, it's all about Devo. It's Devo Day here in the cave. We're excited. Love the shirt, by the way. And
it goes to a sheet.
There you go. That's awesome. That's brilliant. Yeah. All right. So people, give a listen to Devo today, whatever you're doing. Hope it involves music, but it's going to be Devo all day for Frank and I today for sure. And you're going to take it out with me, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And as usual, we'll catch you on the flip side.